I understand listening to me talk about UFC 300 over and over and over again is probably getting pretty stale, but today on Twitter I saw a really interesting take that does involve the main event. And the reason why I think it does make sense is because we look at this UFC 300 card and we see how good it is. We see how stacked this card is. This is going to be one of the biggest cards of all time. But one thing that it is missing is a massive main event. And in my opinion, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad just isn't that wow. UFC 300 main event. We've seen tweets from someone like Chael Sonnen say Bilal Muhammad hasn't been confirmed for UFC 300. Once you figure out why, you might get your little surprise. And that could be tied into this tweet here from Full Violence. I genuinely think this has some merit to it. It is just an opinion. It is just a hot take. But Full Violence tweeted saying, low-key, I think Dana told Conor to announce his fight for a different date so we can all be shocked when Conor versus Chandler is officially announced for UFC 300. Because I still think it's going to be the main event. And if you do really think about it, and this is what I was saying for a bit when UFC 300 was still kind of speculated and rumored, Conor McGregor as the UFC 300 main event makes the most sense. I mean, it's going to be a milestone event, and why not have it headlined by the biggest name in company history, Conor McGregor, the most popular fighter of all time in MMA. And then he goes out there and he announces his fight at middleweight at this event here, which is going to be during International Fight Week. McGregor versus Chandler in June. And he does his little cackle, he does his little laugh, but it probably could have been for a lot of reasons. Just the fact that it's going to potentially be at 185 pounds. Or maybe he was laughing because he knew that he was going to be leading the fans astray and thinking that there's no way he's going to be headlining UFC 300. But in reality, he is. Now, someone did reply to this tweet here, and they did say that Chandler's already in a training camp for a fight. I couldn't find evidence of that. A lot of Chandler's posts of him training are a little bit older, so I don't actually know if he is in training camp right now. I couldn't find evidence of that, but of course I couldn't find evidence of that if the UFC wants us to believe that he's actually fighting in June. So I thought I'd bring that up here. I actually think this has a lot of merit to it. UFC 300 being headlined by Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, very likely just instead of Edwards versus Muhammad. So you've got the main event of McGregor versus Chandler, co-main event of Gaethje versus Holloway, and then the rest of the card here. I was kind of secretly hoping that would get more title fights, but I would find it really hard to believe that they'll do Conor McGregor versus Chandler, as well as Edwards versus Muhammad, Gaethje versus Holloway, and Zhang versus Yan. And Charles Oliveira being on the card as well. I mean, this is a massive card. It's a huge card right now. I am really excited for the card. Now, I'm not still sold on the card because I do believe it's missing a main event. But when I did bring up in the intro there, Chael Sonnen's tweet, I think this and this opinion on this take here could be put together. Now, I didn't bring up Chael Sonnen's tweet because I just couldn't find it, to be honest. But Chael, I don't know how to use Twitter that much. I'm a bit of an idiot. But anyway, Chael Sonnen tweeted, as I kind of quoted there, Bilal Muhammad hasn't been confirmed for UFC 300, and once you figure out why, you might get your little treat, or you might kind of understand what really is going on. And yeah, that genuinely could be it. That could make sense. So, and he didn't even say Leon Edwards hasn't been confirmed, which means a lot of people took that as it could be Leon Edwards still on the card versus Khabib or GSP, just kind of these crazy rumors. I think it actually could mean that Edwards versus Muhammad isn't on the card. And the main event is the Conor McGregor fight. But if it is Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, as well as Edwards versus Muhammad, and then the rest of the card, that would be huge. That would be the card. I feel like you wouldn't really have to add anything more to the main card, because that's it. You've got your card. You know what I mean? Now, the prelims so far, they're good, but I'm waiting on more, to be honest. I feel like, you know, when they did announce the Holloway versus Gaethje fight, I thought, you know what, we've still got to wait for the co-main event and the main events to be announced. Because I don't know, man. I feel like there's still more to come. You know, I think maybe it is McGregor versus Chandler, and I think that would be smart, and I think it could be the case. Now, a lot of people have been saying it could be Alex Pereira. I'm going to say I don't think it will be Alex Pereira, especially if this UFC 301 card is going to be taking place in Brazil. Alex Pereira will more than likely be headlining that card. Alejandro Pantoja just isn't a big enough name to headline UFC 301, and I don't think Mayra Bueno Silva would be either. I mean, maybe you could do Mayra Bueno Silva Yeah, maybe that's what they're trying to do, actually. Juliana Pena versus Mario Bueno Silva and Pantella on that card. Maybe they could sell that and have Alex Pereira fight elsewhere now that I bring it up. This UFC 302, I don't even think that is UFC 302 because Islam Makhachev tweeted saying that there's going to be a pay-per-view June 9th when he wants to defend his title. Saudi Arabia has moved the card to June. Islam Makhachev is probably going to defend his title in Saudi Arabia in June, in my opinion. So there's a lot kind of going on right now, a lot to be read from here. Speaking of reading, just a little bit of Artem's Book Club. I've been recommending this book, not this one, this is the wrong book. This book for a bit. I'm reading the third one in the series right now. Dune by Frank Herbert. Good book. Really good book. If you want a good book to read, Dune. It's widely regarded as the best sci-fi of all time. I'm going to be honest, I haven't read a lot of sci-fi. I haven't actually read a lot of books recently. But I read this one because Corey Sanhagen recommended it. Corey Sanhagen's good at recommending books, I can tell you that. This is a bloody good one. This is the best book I've ever read. And I've read some bangers, you know what I mean? I've read like The Power of One. I've read other books. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think of this take. Let me know what you think of this comment. This one here and UFC 300. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching.